born and raised in Ukraine.
Very interesting hobby.
I want to be an actor in LA. There are 2 million people here wanting to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
The prize was a music contract with Universal Records.
How did you get a visa?
I was doing some music, I was doing recording, and I didn't plan to stay in the States permanently.
Did you know anybody here?
No.
Fearless!
For anyone who's thinking of moving to States, you have to be one or the other. You have to be either already a professional.
I really like her energy and all her advices. You should listen to her.
Language is a pathway to culture, to understanding the mentality of people.
So what happened next?
Whoa, I thought there was a land of the free. What happened? All the laws, everything I have to listen to.
How many costumes do you have?
I have about 15 by now.
15.
About 15. They're mostly Star Wars.
Star Wars?
Yeah, Star Wars. I love Star Wars. And also Blade Runner.
People are always welcome in any country. The concept of talent is very subjective. Having a talent is not enough to achieve a goal. It takes a lot of effort to become successful. Today my guest is a very talented actress, singer and a cosplayer, an immigrant from Ukraine, Rei Kennex. Today I have a very interesting guest and she has a very interesting hobby. Please welcome Rei. She's an actress, singer, and a cosplayer.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Tell me, how did it happen? You don't look like you are from Ukraine.
Well, I know, I get it a lot. I was born and raised in Ukraine, but my heritage is very mixed. Some Balkan, Scandinavian, even some Asian. So I'm enjoying the ambiguity.
When did you come to the United States?
I came in 2013 and I was back and forth for a while until I settled finally.
Why was it back and forth?
Well, because I was doing some music, I was doing recording, and I didn't plan to stay in the States permanently. So I was kind of testing the waters and see if I like it. And it took me a couple of years to really understand this country and decide for myself that this is where I belong.
Did you do music in Ukraine? How did it all happen?
Well, that's a crazy story. So I had a very different job and very different occupation. So I have a master's in international relations and analysis. So that's diplomacy, politics, very different from the artistic world. And I had a very good job in Ukraine. I didn't dream of being a singer, an artist, or do film, and none of that. But something happened in my life that changed the course of it forever. It was a music contest that I won. And it was filmed in Los Angeles.
You worked in the hospital in a different business.
Yes.
And you participated in the concert.
Yeah, it was my hobby. It was just singing. I loved it, and I performed a lot. I had a band, and
really?
I used to enter a lot of competitions. So this one was a big TV show.
Was it back in Ukraine?
Yes, it was in Ukraine, and I just did it because I had fun. And I learned that they would film it in Los Angeles, and I really wanted to go. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to enter it, I'm going to sing and see what happens. And I ended up winning it.
What competition was that?
It was called American Chance.
American Chance in Ukraine?
In Ukraine.
What year was that?
That was about 2012, I think.
Because I'm not sure I heard about it.
It was a while back.
And you won it.
Yeah, I did.
So what happened next?
So what happened next was a crazy whirlpool of events, because that's when I believed in myself artistically. That's when I really saw this profession with new eyes and saw the perspectives and decided to go for it and decided to try it. So the prize was a music contract with Universal Records.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty big.
Yeah.
And I was entirely immersed into music life back in Ukraine, really enjoyed it. But then I came to the point where I didn't see any more development for myself in Ukraine. And I decided to go to other places, to say.
So you won it and you had a contract and you came here?
No, I was there. I was back in Ukraine.
So contract was for Ukraine, not for the United States, right?
Yes, it was a Ukrainian contract. And that gave me a taste of that life, a taste of myself in that profession. And I really fell in love with it. I realized that pretty much artistic creativity, that's where my soul is, that's what my passion is. But I didn't quite vibe with Ukrainian scene. And I decided to go back to LA and to talk to a producer of the show and see if I had any other opportunities and just talk about my future. So that's how I ended up here. That was my first time.
Did he invite you? They didn't invite you right away when you won the competition? They didn't?
No, they wanted us to stay in Ukraine. But for myself, I saw that I always gravitated towards American culture, towards American music, American cinema. So I like singing in English. I write my songs in English, so I wanted to come here.
Was it the same producer that worked in Ukraine?
No, it's an American producer.
How did you find him?
Oh, he was in charge of the show. So he was producing the entire show.
So you came here, you got a visa. How did you get a visa?
So the first time I came, it was a tourist visa because I didn't come to work. I came to talk, I came to just do some reconnaissance. I went to Nashville next because that's the music capital of the state. So I went there to make some connections, to meet some people, and then ended up making friends, ended up staying. And then I got my O1 visa. So I could work and I could record my album. And that's how it all started.
Did you sign the contract here?
No, I was independent. I didn't want any more contracts at that time. I had enough of being dependent on a big company. So I decided to go for by myself.
Do you think it's easier to work by yourself than to have a contract here and have a producer?
It depends on what you want to do. If you're just starting out, then maybe it's easier if somebody manage you and manage your career. But if you're not exactly sure, maybe it's better to test the waters by yourself. It depends.
What kind of steps did you take to expose yourself so people know about you? They hear your songs, How do you promote yourself?
The very first time I came here, I only knew one person in the entire country. It was that producer I mentioned. So I started from scratch. And of course, it was a big journey. So number one step was to meet other professionals in the field, make friends, start working with them, and then learn the industry. And for anyone who comes to the States, no matter what profession you have, that's what you need to do. You need to learn the industry and you need to connect to as many people as you can who will help you.
Did your producer help you, or did you find them by yourself? The people, the connections, all these connections?
He only connected me to one person, to another music producer. And he was testing me. He didn't trust me right away because he's like, I know some girl from Ukraine, and let's see what she's like. So he took me to the studios, he made me sing, he introduced me to his other colleagues so they could all talk to me and understand where I'm at and what goals I have and see if we could make something together. And we got along great. I think we vibed musically, we were excited to work together, and that's how it all started. So that was my first home base, sort of, was Nashville for music.
An interesting fact, Nashville hosted the Grammy nominations concert in 2012, making it the only other city besides Los Angeles to do so. For how long did you stay in Nashville?
I stayed for 2 years.
2 years.
So spend that time, again, learning the craft, learning about music industry, growing as an artist, finding my own way. And, just the very first time feeling if America is the place for me or not. That's why I was still back and forth, because I was not sure yet.
What was the most surprising here for you when you moved here?
The most surprising thing, I guess the diversity of people, because back then when I first came here, there weren't as many resources available as now. You have bloggers, you have YouTubers, everything you want to know, it's out there. And when I came here, I didn't know anything. Well, whatever you see in movies, but that was it. And I was surprised that each region of the States is like its own different country. In our mind, Americans are all the same, just Americans. But no matter but no matter where you go, you think, oh, it's the same people, but it's not like that. Depending on the state or some area, you'll see completely different communities with completely different mindsets, cultures, habits. So that was very surprising because Nashville, even though I love it for work, for music, it was not my place. It felt too country, it felt too different, and even though I love the people, they're very warm and welcoming, but it was not my thing. So next I went to New York City, which is my favorite place on earth. And that was where I found my rock band, and that's where I jived, and the 2 years were incredible there. It was just everything.
That's awesome. Did you know anybody from New York when you moved there? Nobody.
I didn't know anyone, no.
She's so brave.
But I did make friends. Like I said, I found musicians with whom we performed. We had a band, I had friends. It was just great.
And tell me, you arrived to New York City and you didn't know anybody. How did you find people?
Well, I'm just like that. I love traveling by myself all over the world. It's not a problem to me. I love exploring and I love meeting new people. So with the band online, like how you meet people now if you don't know anyone.
But I mean, like, okay, let's see. I arrive and where did you go? How did you find them? You know, you are in a new city, you don't know where to go, you don't know people. You can come to somebody and ask, but I'm not sure if somebody knows the band over here. Said like, okay, I know a band.
No, I went online. There's a website, and I posted an ad that I'm so-and-so, I'm a musician. I'm looking for musicians to get together and make a band and perform. And I had a few meetings just over coffee, and whoever I really liked, whoever I felt was a cool person, we just instantly connected.
What
became
website?
friends. It was actually Craigslist, I think. Back then, it was Craigslist. It can be shisty, so I don't recommend that everyone just goes there and does that. But it can work, when you don't know anyone. And New York is such a cool place to meet people because everyone is from somewhere and everyone comes by themselves mostly. So people are usually open to new acquaintances, new friends.
Yeah, New York is great. I love New York.
Yeah. I love the energy. It's just the best.
So what happened the next? Did you find an apartment to live? And how did you find it?
So I found a leasing agency also online, so in Harlem. And I went there and met the leasing manager, and I told her what I wanted, and she found me the most perfect little studio apartment in Harlem. It was right across the street from the church. So it was absolutely gorgeous, and I loved it.
How big was that studio?
Small. It was very small, just a studio.
How much did it cost you?
It was like $1,400, I think.
How did you make this money?
Just working. I had all kinds of different little gigs I did. I was modeling because I had my O1 visa by then, so I could work legally. So I found an agent who would help me with modeling gigs. I had a translating work as well because I'm a professional interpreter. So I'd help people with their green card interviews, with their applications. So I had that going on. Just the little things every now and then. Some acting things also came along. I was making money off my music as well. So there was a lot of things. You don't have to hustle. It's a lot of work.
For how long did you live in New York?
For 2 years.
2 years in Nashville, 2 years in New York.
You have to find your place. Like I was saying, if you're coming here, you need to research. Now, thankfully, it's very easy. You need to research what kind of area you want to live in, what are the peculiarities of that area, what are people like, what the culture is like, and then understand that your family will be raised here in this place, and your kids will probably take after those areas as well, after those people. So that's why I was testing. I didn't know exactly where I wanted to root. So next was LA.
Can you give us a couple tips what you should do in New York and what you shouldn't do?
Well, you know what? I don't know what's happening there now because things changed a lot since COVID. But you should not be by yourself at night at shady areas, especially if you're a girl, because it can be dangerous. So it's criminal. So you have to be a little bit aware. Don't walk around.
It's anywhere or some specific part of New York?
Well, the closer to Manhattan you are, probably the more careful you have to be, because unfortunately, especially recently, I've heard that crime rates are going up. When I lived there, so that's an interesting thing. I lived in Harlem, which had a reputation a few decades ago, but I loved it. The people were incredible. I loved my neighbors. I loved the community. I never felt unsafe. Despite everything I've heard about it, but I was like, whoa, they're all great. I love them, and I really was sad to leave everyone there. But I know that's just my experience. Overall, it's a big city, and especially if you're by yourself, you don't have anyone to call if you need help. So I just say be careful. And then what you should do, you should enjoy the diversity of the cultures. You should enjoy people who are from all over the world. It's such an opportunity just to immerse yourself into the whole world without traveling. It's all in one city. It has so many opportunities. If you are into any industry that's big in New York, if you're in fashion or theater or anything up and coming, it's all there. It's such a vibrant place. It's also expensive. So there are pros and cons. And I love Reds. I know people hate them. I love those Reds. They're my little buddies. When I was by myself, they were always there waiting for me. I fed them, maybe. So yeah, it's whatever you make of it.
You should love Reds. Look at you. You are personality.
I sing and they run.
What was your favorite place in New York?
My favorite place was, oh gosh, I had so many favorite places. I think Soho, I really loved it. And Wall Street, that area next to the boardwalk.
Yeah.
I just really love the ocean down there.
And what happened? Why did you move from New York?
Well, I was still going back and forth between Nashville and New York because I had my recording agenda going on in Nashville. I had a producer I was recording an album with. And I started shooting music videos. And they were very cinematic. And that was the turning point because those little videos were made like little films. And I started trying acting and coming up with those ideas, writing them, testing them. And I discovered that that was something that I didn't know I needed in my life. I didn't know how happy it made me to be on set, to see my ideas come to life, to come up with characters, to live that little 5 minutes in a song as them. And I was like, oh my goodness, because the songs I used to write were soundtrack songs. So I write for and sing for soundtracks. So it's the big cinematic, epic things. And they're storytelling too. It's a way of storytelling. But being the character on set, that was something entirely different. So, of course, where would I do that? That's Los Angeles.
Yes.
So I had no strings attached.
That's Los Angeles.
Los Angeles it is. So I sold everything I had in New York,
And
packed my bags and came to LA.
did you know anybody here?
No. What?
She's fearless.
I did not know anyone. No. I had maybe an acquaintance, but that didn't matter because I wasn't in touch with them anyway. But again, find a place to live, find a place to be, make new.
Did you find your place to live ahead when you moved?
Yes, I did. Before moving, yes. I found, again, an agency who had apartments, and I found an apartment, and that was it. So I had
Was it easy for you? Because I know here they ask you your paychecks, and they want you to be working here. When I moved, they asked us if we are working here. They didn't accept any paychecks back from Minneapolis, where I used to live. How did it work with you,
They needed to see a proof that I'm allowed to work here legally, which I did. I had my O1 visa for 4 years already almost. So they had that. You pay deposit. I think it's easier in LA to do that. I paid my deposit and 1 month ahead, and that's it.
Wow, my apartment is so strict. They got so many information from us before we moved in. I was surprised.
I think it depends on the complex. Maybe not everyone operates that way. You have to look. It's all online. So of course it takes some time. It's work. If you expect to come here and have everything easy, probably not going to happen. So just expect to put your time and effort into research.
You decided to become an actress, right? And you moved to LA. What kind of steps did you take?
Well, I thought that, music I can do anywhere. Los Angeles is also big, a music scene, so I can definitely do the same thing here. But acting, New York wouldn't give me that. So when I came here, I thought that, okay, if I want to be a competitive actor, filmmaker, I need to be a professional. What do I do to be a professional? Because I never did it. before, like on a big scale. I needed a school. So I found a film school in LA that would have grants. And that's an important thing because for anyone who's thinking of moving to States, you have to be one or the other. You have to be either already a professional, good at your craft, know what you're doing, know what you want, have at least some foundation to start. Or if you don't have that, be ready to study. Whatever you can afford. If you can't afford college, find some little smaller courses so you can learn the new craft or be better, because it's a different country. More people from all over the world, all the best are here. You need to be better. So it's one of the, if you didn't do anything in your home country, wherever you are, and you didn't achieve anything, and you don't know anything, and you professionally are not valuable, what makes you think you can do it here when it's different people, different mentality, more competition? It's not going to happen. So you have to achieve something first. So, or learn, be ready to learn. So I want to be an actor in LA. There are 2 million people here wanting to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
So what do I do? I found a school who had grants, a good school. And thankfully, New York Film Academy.
Okay, that's
New
what
York,
I need.
yes, I was gonna say New York Film Academy. I love that school. And they were able to transfer my credits from my Ukrainian University to that. So I didn't have to do entire 5 years of college. I enrolled into master's program right away, and I applied for 2 grants, and I got them both. So that
Wow.
saved me a lot of money.
I can tell, yes. It's
Yeah.
a big deal here.
Yeah.
Did you apply, was your major an actress for an acting?
Acting for film.
Acting for
Yes,
film.
but the school is so good because here the educational system is a little different. It's more diverse than, let's say, in Ukraine. So they let you try a lot of different things, and you can yourself pick which way you want to go, and you can select your primarily focus. Like I did acting, but I really got into directing also, and writing. And it's good to know, as much as you can about the industry, about your professions. You can be flexible, especially in creativity, something you have no limits for. We do so much, you do the same thing.
Do you want to know the fun fact about me?
Yeah.
So me and the DP, Sheena, we met at the New York Film Academy.
There we go.
Right, Sheena?
So you know what it is. So we all talk to each other. We all know other faculties, right?
It was so interesting. We were like 2 of us, right? We applied. We were just 2 of us. We came for the open house. And it was so fun.
No way, that's crazy.
Yes.
So you meet people from all over the place. You become friends, and you keep working together. That's how you meet people.
Right? Yes. And when I told him about this project, he actually supported me a lot. He believed in it. Right? He was the first one who said like, yes, let's do it.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, that's how you meet people. That's how you make friends. You find somebody who resonates with you, who understands your vision, your ideas, who wants to be on board and help you grow, and you help them grow. And this is what I've been doing here for the last 4 years in Los Angeles, building my community, finding friends, finding like-minded professionals who can be on board, and we can help each other grow together.
Did you find an agent, or you are still applying by yourself?
No, I had 2 agents by now. I have 1 now, but I am planning a new one with more of a film focus, theatrical agent. So I'm working on some nice projects right now, and as soon as they're out, then I'm taking the next step and going further.
How did you find your agent? Because it's really hard to find an agent.
Yeah, it is hard, and thankfully I have to thank NYFA for that, New York Film Academy, because they had a showcase for actors, and we had a film premiere. We had a theater snippet when we had to perform live on stage. Had a play, and the school invited agencies who were interested in coming. They would see our headshots ahead of time, so they would know who would see. They would come and watch us, talk to us, and after that, a couple of agencies were interested in working with me, so I picked the one that I am with right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but they're mostly commercial based, and I need the one that is more film based. So that's the next step.
Is your family still back in Ukraine?
Yeah, everyone's there.
Everyone is there. Do you miss them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone does. Family and food and weather.
When was the last time you were there?
I was there last 7 months. I was stuck there during quarantine.
Oh, really?
So I came back in September.
And did your visa allow you to stay for a long time in Ukraine?
No, it didn't. It didn't allow me to do that. But because of the quarantine, they lifted some restrictions. So if you couldn't leave, they, I think they allowed all the foreigners stay as long as they needed.
You had an excuse because of the COVID, right?
Yeah, but by that time, I had green card, so it was all right.
How did you end up doing all this cosplaying thing? My friends told me about the cosplaying. I was like, what is that? Am I too old to know about it, or what is this about?
Well, it's a very American thing. The whole cosplay movement started in the United States in the 60s, and then it transferred to Japan as well. So that's another big country for that. And what it is, and America is a country of pop culture.
Yeah.
It's maybe as big as in Japan. Everything's pop culture. So people wanted a creative outlet, a fun hobby to do, and to be involved with the same like-minded geeks and nerds, and go to some place where you can all talk about your favorite movies, your characters, your comics, and dress up as your favorite characters. That's how it all started. And for me, I started cosplaying at the same time with acting. I didn't know much about cosplay either. I came here, I don't know. I just know it exists. But it started at the same time because to me, this is the continuation of acting. For some people, it's a fun hobby. They don't get invested too much into it. They just get a costume and whatever, have fun. But to me, it's an opportunity to live as a character I really love in their clothing and make some pictures, make some movies about them, films, anything basically. So to me, it's another creative outlet.
Do you act a lot like this? Do you participate in some conventions? What's happening? So you have this costume. Where are you going in this costume?
Yeah, you go to conventions. So thankfully, Los Angeles and Southern California is the biggest in the States for conventions. And before COVID happened, we had one probably every weekend. Some smaller, some bigger ones. Yeah, a lot. Some of them are smaller, some of them are bigger. But if you want to go, you can go to many places.
I'll go for sure. But so every weekend, what are you doing there?
Well, I'm not going every weekend. I don't have that much time to do that. But basically, I'd go to the biggest ones because they're the best. And you usually write a schedule because there's so much to do. But first of all, there are opportunities to meet professionals in the field. So to me, as an actor and a filmmaker, it's very important because it's not like they're just walking outside of the street and I can just meet them randomly. You know that somebody's going to be there. You can make it a point. Oh, I want to meet that professional. So you know where they're going to be, and they will be willing to talk to you and to make that connection so you can use it for your work. And I did, and it was amazing.
So is all of this about the connections, or you have something that you do together and people watch you?
There's all kinds of things, depending on what you want to do. If you just want to have fun with your friends, you can do that. You make group photo shoots, you all discuss, you go to panels, you see your favorite celebrities, talk about their new movies. So there's so many things. So you can go shopping. There's a shopping area where you can buy all kinds of merchandise and memorabilia, whatever, you name it.
How do you call it?
Memorabilia. It's a collectible figures or books or something rare. Memorabilia.
Memorabilia.
Yeah. So there's so much to do. I started to go just for fun, just to meet new people who also like movies, like cartoons, like all kinds of nerdy stuff, because I'm a big nerd. But it ended up turning into a part of my profession now because I started growing as a cosplayer. I started learning about the industry, and movie industry and cosplay industry very intersected because same people are in it. Well, let's say I make a movie, I'm a filmmaker, I come to the convention to show you the movie, to talk about it, and you might be an actor, you might meet me, and there you go. For you, you got something out of it. You got a new acquaintance. So you never know what can happen.
That's interesting because I've been in this industry for a while and never heard about it. Actually, I saw one of my friend on Instagram. I saw her in a costume, but I didn't know what this is about. I saw her some like Japanese stuff she has.
Some anime.
Yes, I have to ask her for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of you can do. Just for me, I started to see value in it. Because I started gaining an audience online. I started to get fans. I started to be invited to events that I otherwise wouldn't be invited to.
Do you have an Instagram account? Yeah. What's your Instagram account?
It's Rei Kennex, that's my name. Rei.Kennex.
Rei.Kennex. It's
REI
REI dot.
KENNEX.
Follow her. You will know more.
So it started with photos, but now we're making films, short films based on our favorite fandoms and characters. And it's so crazy how it grew, because I started from just as pictures at the at the convention, but now I'm working with people who actually worked on Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
Who like my ideas and who want to come and do something together. And the next one we're about to release is based on Star Wars too. And people who are in charge of that content officially, they know about it, and so they're excited to see that.
So awesome.
So it's going to be very, very interesting. I also did an amazing project with the Blade Runner. You know Blade Runner. Because of the convention, because I just did a costume and impersonated, so to say, the main character from the comics.
Oh, okay.
Which never was seen as a live person because it's a drawing, clearly. But I met the writers of the comics who happened to be the screenwriters of the movie. And they wanted me to be on the cover of several covers of the comic books because they loved my portrayal, and they said, you are the character, we want you to be on the cover. And to me it was so cool because I'm obsessed with Blade Runner, and that to me was such a great thing to happen, to come out of. I would have never dreamed about something like that, but that's because of the convention. And that's what you can do. I was modeling as Ahsoka Tano, one of the most beloved Star Wars characters, for official art for Star Wars. So that also got me some good leverage in the fandom and around the professionals, because they all know each other. So you can really, this one tip, really be open to opportunities, because they say America is a land of opportunities. That's true, because you never know where it's going to take you. So the more people you meet, the more open-minded you are, the more is in front of you. And don't be afraid to switch, to be flexible, because you might dream about something and then one thing, and then your life can take you somewhere else just because of one encounter that you have.
Did you know that the Comic-Con is very popular in the whole world? For example, in 2016, San Diego Comic-Con sold all the 130,000 tickets in 1 hour. Did you have a problem with your language?
No, that's one problem I did not have, because I already came here fluent. It's one of my professions. I'm an interpreter. So that was, I think, such an advantage. I'm so thankful to my mom that, started to train me very early on. So education definitely pays off. And I did not have any problem. I had more accent, so people used to ask me all the time where I'm from and all that. It was very annoying. So I was working on that too. But anyone who is considering coming here should do their best. It's number one thing you should do, brush up your English. Because if you're just on a basic level, you'll be limiting yourself from so many doors, so many opportunities, because you won't be able to be in any professional environment, to deliver any public speech, to do anything and be taken seriously if you just can say, hi, how are you? Yeah. And you'll be so much slowed down by your lack of knowledge, by your lack of fluency. It's funny that number one fear in America is fear of public speaking. So that just lets you know how important it is here to be able to speak in public. How can you do that if your language barrier is inhibiting you from doing that? So I'd say that's the most important thing. Do your best to learn. And some people think, oh, we'll come here and we'll pick it up. Well, you will, but it's the foundation of the language, it's the grammar, it's very necessary. So I'm still learning. English is such a big language. It's easy to start, but then there's no end. There's vocabulary is just enormous. So I'd say it's very important to do that.
I'm happy you said this, because it's what I'm saying to all my friends and all the people I know. Don't be afraid to speak. If you don't speak, learn the language, because you will be limited. And that's how people become unhappy. And they say people who don't speak English and live in the country where all the people speak English, it's really hard. They're just limited. They talk to the people from their own countries. And that's all, and they say that everything is bad. Nothing is bad, just because you don't want to learn and interact with other people, right?
And it's very important to not only maintain the ties to your people, to your own other immigrants from your country. It's important to have friends, so you have still a circle of friends from there. But if you want to grow professionally, I will emphasize it professionally, you need to learn the language, because you are in the States and you will be working with people primarily speaking American English, so American English. You will be treated not just, the bad meaning immigrant, the ones that everyone has an idea about, but you will be treated as an American citizen, as somebody who's here, who's determined, who's able, who's capable, and you'll have so much more respect from those people. And it's true, because you put an effort. You didn't only come here and did all the work to come here, you also learned their language. Language is a pathway to a culture, to understanding the mentality of people. And everyone compares the Ukrainian, Russian, American mentality, and they can't understand it. If you know the language, you'll understand the mentality. And it's an amazing mentality. It's very different, but I love it. It's another question you had about how different we are.
Yes.
It's on the surface we're different. If you really know the people, we're not that different. It's just some cultural things that you have to understand. Oh, that's how they do it here. And you can show them your way. And some people, all my friends that come to my place wear slippers. They wear slippers and they love it. I need to buy those.
Right.
IKEA, there you go. So we can exchange, and it's a beautiful thing, because deep inside, once you, American people are very open, much more open than Russian or Ukrainian people. So once you're in there, it's the same. You'll find somebody who's your soulmate, who you understand, and it's great. You can have equally amazing friends from anywhere, really. Yeah, it's just cultural surface thing. You have to dig a little bit. They always complain, they smile all the time, and we never smile, so we must be horrible. Well, you live here, you learn to smile more, because you see happy things everywhere. You don't tend to gloom inside and brood and all of that. So it's like that, and I like making friends from all over the place. I think I'm a very open person, I guess. I never had a problem with understanding, that's another person, makes sense, they're different. They're from another country, of course.
They cannot be the same, right? And I really like her energy and all her advices. You should listen to her.
Energy is another thing you have to have here. A lot of it. A lot of energy.
What is the most different you found out in this country from your country?
Most different. Well, number one, coming from a creative environment, right? So lots of rules and regulations. Anyone who comes here finds themselves like, whoa, I thought there was a land of the free. What happened? All the laws, everything I have to listen to, and a lot of things like this. Yes, that's true, but that's also cannot be necessarily a bad thing. You just have to adjust. So for me, taxes. Taxes. If you are gonna work here, learn the taxes, because when I came here, I had no idea what it was. I'm still very clueless. And even Americans like, why are you surprised? Even us, we don't know how they work exactly. So a bunch of rules and regulations. So for example, we were shooting a short film. And it's crazy how many permits you have to get, how many paperwork you have to get. It's insane. In Ukraine, it was never anything like it. It's more, you cannot go here because it's somebody's private property. Like, it's a forest. There's no one here. You can't. See that little mark here? No. So, all right, fine. So we were shooting a short film in the mountains, way up in this rock, so high you could not see anyone from there. And we were required to have a fire truck and a policeman and a fireman. We couldn't even see them from where we were. We were literally climbing the mountains, but we had to have it. We had to have it, and it was half of our budget was those have to have it things. And I know it's rules. I know it's rules, and if you just come here and do anything like that, drives you nuts.
I know.
It's just insane. Your brain's blowing because it's like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna get anything done? But once you get used to it, it's fine.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot of rules, and I know we filmed something 2 weeks ago, and the camera operator came outside, and the representative from the film LA came. He said, like, you can't stand on this walkway, just standing with the camera. You don't have a permit. We had a permit. He didn't know about it. But still, it was surprising that you cannot even stay.
Because we have that mentality of Ukraine, whatever, Ukraine. We have this mentality that, oh, it's not allowed. Well, I'm still going to do it, and then I'm going to find my way out of it.
I'm gonna sneak.
Yeah, it drives people crazy, especially producers.
Oh, yeah.
Producers, whoever's producing anything. Yeah, so you can't really do that unless there's a legal way. So we call it like Russian loopholes. So if somebody did not expect us to be so inventive, they didn't make a rule for that, then maybe you can do it. But you still have to be very careful. And yeah, that was number one.
I have a question regarding your costumes. Where do you take them? Do you buy them or all these outfits for cosplaying?
Well, yeah, I can start from the beginning. My costumes are not bought. You can't really buy anything like that because I'm a perfectionist. So whenever I choose a character to cosplay or to play in my own project, it doesn't matter. I'm very particular about how I want it to look. So I do a lot of research first. And I create my vision with every single detail, how I want it down to the fabric, down to the lacing, down to everything. And then I find all the materials, parts. Some parts I do buy from makers if I can't make it myself. There are people who specialize in prop creation. So those things I do buy, but I modify everything myself. Practically always, because I'm so particular with it.
It looks so perfect on you, that's why I was asking.
Thank you.
How many costumes do you have?
I have about 15 by now.
15?
About 15, yes.
What movies are they from?
They're mostly Star Wars.
Star Wars?
Yeah, Star Wars. I love Star Wars. And also Blade Runner. I have a lot of costumes from both movies and comics. I have this Disney one, and I'm in process of making Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman?
Yes.
That's cool.
So, like I said, to me, it's just such a way to express myself creatively, to make something. But the most entertaining part is to play that character, because some characters, they don't exist in flesh. They only exist as a cartoon. Yeah, and some roles, like Wonder Woman, it's something that I dream of playing something like that one day. And since she already exists, I can still try it and maybe tweak it and just playing around.
But I just noticed you look like her.
Just
You have something.
But now as an actor, I know my type, and those characters that I cosplay are within that type. So to me, it's like another, I call it non-stress acting, because there's no movies, there's no expectations. You're your own boss. You can wear the costume, take pictures, and practice your skill. I specialize in embodying the character physically. So I do the voice, I do the walk, the physicality, along with the costume. Some people don't care about that. They only care about making something crazy complicated. So there's a lot of different fields where you can go with that. But my favorite is embodying the character.
Did you know that Little Tokyo is one of only 3 official Japan towns in the US? There are all 3 in California. The other 2 are in San Francisco and San Jose. Do you have a favorite place to go here in LA?
Yes, I do. So my favorite place is downtown, and particularly Little Tokyo.
Little Tokyo? I've never been in Little Tokyo, actually. What is this? What is this about? It's like a little city, like little country. It's like all people from Japan are there, or what's happening?
Kind of a little bit of everything. So it's just the perfect place for a blissful peregrination where you just want to walk around and enjoy the surroundings and have fun. And that is a Japanese area. It's called Japanese Village, is the heart of it. A Japanese area downtown Los Angeles. Since there's a big population of Japanese people in here, they created this little spot, I call it like a little oasis. And if you love Japan and you can't go there, just want to experience Japan, this is the place to go. It's a little touristy, so don't get me wrong. There's another area that's not for tourists, that's also Japanese. But this one is just a little paradise, and it has all these cute stores with kawaii stuff, and has the Japanese restaurants, there's shopping, there's just always like a fun vibe in there.
I just heard the familiar word to me, kawaii. That's kawaii. My daughter, she's dying for it, and I'm afraid to bring her there because I kind of have a feeling I'm gonna leave a lot of money there.
Yes, you will.
Right?
You can help. But all our geek community, the film community, everyone loves Japanese culture because there's so much intertextualization in the movies, in the animated even films with Japanese content culture. So all of us know it, all of us love it, and that's the place where you go to even maybe bump into somebody who you know from the conventions or the cosplay
That's
world.
awesome. I think we should go there. What do you think?
I think we should.
We should?
We should.
Are you ready?
I was ready.
You're ready?